Ready for a peek behind the financial curtain? I'm sharing our complete April spending breakdown, including the not so pretty truth about our grocery spending. But don't worry, I've got a plan to fix it. Welcome to Oakledge Finances. I'm Stephanie, and this is the April YNAB spending plan for our household of 8. To say that April did not go according to plan is, well, a bit of an understatement. I had expected a few major expenses. I knew we were going on a trip to Kansas City with our 2 oldest boys. And so I expected some travel expenses to be a little bit higher. I expected the food for those who were staying home to be a little bit higher since I wouldn't be here to cook, but I didn't know we were gonna go off the rails like we did. Our trip to Kansas City, that went off the rails 3 hours before our flight was supposed to leave, and it pretty much stayed off the rails. So that's a whole other story that's beyond what I'm talking about here today. But if you come back next week, I'm gonna share that story and break down our spending and how much that trip to Kansas City actually cost us. But in the meantime, let's dive into the budget and see how much did we spend in April and what am I going to do about this overspending for our grocery bill. To begin with, you can see up here that I have 3 overspent categories for April. Actually, it's only 2 overspent: groceries and household toiletries. The credit card payments looks like it's overspent, but it'll actually take care of itself once I move money into these other 2 to cover that overfunding. So let's start with that. Groceries. Groceries were out of control. We had over $1,200 worth of spending for groceries. So step 1, we're going to cover this overspending. And I usually like to cover overspending with money from the same category group. It's going to be a little challenging this month because you can see most everything is already gray. Let's go ahead and take care of this $292 for household and toiletries. I'm not even sure. Toilet paper, printer paper, Rid-X, which is what we pour into our septic tank, sandwich bags, allergy meds, toothpaste. You can see it was run-of-the-mill, ordinary stuff. It wasn't anything crazy, but we can cover that with gas because we had some money left over for gas and money left over for propane. So let's go ahead and move $2.92 from gas up to household toiletries, and yay, now we're gray. We have $154.28 left in our propane category. Propane is what we use for heat, hot water, our cook stove, and our clothes dryer all uses propane. We are done with heating for the season. Yes! If you live in New England or anywhere in the northern area where you get a lot of snow and a lot of winter, you know when it comes time to shut off the heater, it is a time to celebrate. And our heater is done. We won't have to have a fill up for our propane tank until October. Yes. So that means I don't have to have this money until October. So I've got plenty of time to increase the sinking fund. So I am going to move all of this to cover our overspending for groceries. And we still have gas that we can move up and cover the rest of that overspending as well, which leaves us with $137.36 of overspending. So now I've got to go looking for money in other categories. All right, needs, non-monthly. These are sinking funds. Car insurance, I'm going to have to pay in May. Homeowners insurance is going to come out in June. And property tax is also coming out in May. So I'm not touching any of these. They're sinking funds. They need to stay right where they're at. Needs, bits and bobs. I really don't want to touch any of this because without a doubt, my boys are going to need some summer clothes soon. We're trying to save up for some house repairs, and we need new shocks or struts or something. My husband was saying we we need to do some work on our car. So I don't want to touch that. And just the two of us, that's stuff for my husband and I, not touching that. Homeschool, really rather not do that. So family fun. This is discretionary. It's just for fun stuff. We've got 164.44 sitting there, and we need 137.36. Trying to save up so that we could have a day at Six Flags New England this summer, but yeah, let's undo that because I don't want all of it. I just need, how much do I need? 137.36. So let's change that to 137.36. And oh, hello, gotta put in where it's going. Okay, that leaves us a whopping 27.08 in family fund. That stinks, but it's the way it goes sometimes, right? One of the things that I love about YNAB, because YNAB makes it very clear what I'm giving up in order to fund something else. So it's very clear that we've given up family fun, maybe going to Six Flags New England. We've given that up in order to fund extra groceries, which a lot of that was actually frozen pizzas and chicken strips, and it was convenience food, which convenience food is crazy expensive. We did what we did, and moving on. Needs monthly is taken care of. We didn't have anything for the non-monthly except for our track phone. We use a track phone, which is a prepaid cell phone, and that stays at the house for my two youngest boys who don't have cell phones yet. Needs bits and bobs. What did we spend on our car this? Oh, DMV. My husband had to renew his driver's license. It is what it is, right? We didn't have any other spending for needs, bits, and bobs. Just the two of us. Joel's dough and Stephanie's gravy is our personal allowance money. That's what we each get $25 a month to do whatever we want with. No questions asked. He's been buying a bunch of camping stuff, camping gear for the summer. And I bought a thing online from a YouTuber. And let's see, fun together. Oh, we went to On the Border for a date. So that was fun. I do remember that. It was good. Everything else stays the same. We haven't done much for homeschool, extracurriculars. My husband is an assistant scoutmaster for our Boy Scout troop, and they had a camp out in April, and he went, so he had to contribute money. Then they ate really good. The scoutmasters do not eat the same food that the boys are eating. Not at all. On this particular time, they had steaks and mashed potatoes and asparagus, and the $38 tells the tale. So nothing else came out in homeschool. Family fun. We did have a birthday. One of our sons had a birthday and he got a new bicycle. So that was very exciting. And then family travel. We're going to skip family travel and come back to that because the rest of these are fairly simple. We donate every month to Fostering Hope, which is an organization based in New England that helps families who foster and foster kids, and is a really, really great organization. And then we also support one boy. I think we're down to just one in Compassion International, and that one should end in July. So we also give to our church, but I don't feel comfortable sharing that amount. So I don't have that on here. Nothing happened in our emergency funds. Yay, yay, there was no emergency. And this is just my holding account for next month. All right, so let's go back to family travel. You can see for April, we spent $202.49 on our trip to Kansas City. From New England, we flew from New England to Kansas City. And this trip was bonkers, absolutely bonkers. So what's not showing here is that I bought plane tickets and paid for our Vrbo, VRBO. We rented a house for while we were there. So I paid for all of that in February and March. So it's not showing up here. The $202 is just what we spent mainly for food, We have Walmart, so that's what our snacks that we took with us. But the rest of that is restaurants, snacks in the airport, and then this $100 that went to a friend, that was our part of the Uber while we were there. We took, I think, four Uber rides and split the cost with him because a grown friend, not like a grown, he's 37. So grown friend went with us. And so we split the cost of the Uber with him. Yeah, so we spent a whole lot less than I'd expected. You can see we still have $1,000 left over because I was expecting us to do some tourist stuff, go to a museum, have more restaurants, but it didn't happen. So come back next week for more on that story. Since we have this money left over, I'm gonna go ahead and move it down college move-in because one of my sons decided that he's going to go to the school in Kansas City, which yay, that's fun. And the other one decided that he's gonna go to the school in South Carolina that we went and visited in February or March. That's exciting. But that means we have two sons to drop off at college in very different parts of the country. So that's going to be real expensive. Stay tuned for August. August is going to be super exciting and crazy. Now we have $1,000 there, $500 for some camping trips. I still have not gotten to the post office for the passports. I've got to do that with my older kids. So that's it. That's what we spent in the month of April. April, like I said, was pretty crazy. Let's talk about this grocery spending, $1,200. So what am I gonna do going forward? Well, first of all, I'm not buying frozen pizza and mozzarella sticks and fish sticks and corn dogs and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going back to our normal eating, not convenience food, not freezer food. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna change the target on our groceries because $720 is just not gonna work. I did the experiment. I don't regret the experiment. It was a good experiment to see, could I make it work? And I just can't. When we got home, I was so wiped out. I have 2 different autoimmune diagnoses. And so fatigue is a real issue for me. All right, so now let's go back over to groceries and we're gonna change this target because $720 for my household of 8 is just, it's not realistic. I'm glad I did the experiment. Now I know. And I really did give it a good shot. I gave it a good try, but it's just not gonna work. So I'm going to change this target back to 800 and leave it for the first because I fully fund on the first. And then every month it will set aside another $800. Theoretically, if there's any money left at the end of the month, it'll roll over into next month and then it will add another $800. So in theory, I could end up with extra money to spend, but this is groceries, this is food. It never works that way, at least not for me. So we're gonna save that target and everything's green. And you can see over here, it has changed to 800. Going forward, I'm fixing our grocery problem by increasing our budget for groceries because that's what's got to happen. And then I'm also reducing our convenience food that we're buying. And step 3, to help me with some fatigue issues that I'm still having, is this summer I have a plan for some of my kids to fix supper. I'm going to assign a kid to a night, and that's going to be his night, and he's going to learn how to make some basic meals. It's time that my 12-year-old learned how to make tacos and grill some hot dogs. Really simple, really basic, but skills that are good to have. And it helps me eventually. Once he's been taught, then he can do it without any help, and that'll be awesome. That's the end of our spending for April. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I hope you are inspired, encouraged to keep budgeting. If you don't already use YNAB, but you might be interested in it, you can follow the link that's in the description. It'll take you to the YNAB website where you can sign up without even giving your credit card. You can sign up for a free month. So you can try it out for free for 1 month. And if you use my link and then go ahead and pay for a subscription, you'll get a second month for free, and I'll get a free month too, which would be really awesome. All right, so that's the end. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you have any thoughts or questions, don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you next time with a video about funding our May spending plan. Bye.